Welcome back. I'm Kevin O'Keefe. At issue today, Canadians who've achieved remarkable success at a young age. 17-year-old Perri Tutelman is one of Canada's top 20 under 20. She started at BC's Cancer Research Centre at 14. She's also the founder of the Cures for Kids Foundation that offers funding to pediatric healthcare centres. Here's Perri at the Top 20 Under 20 awards ceremony talking about Cures for Kids.
The Cures for Kids Foundation is dedicated to raising funds and awareness for pediatric life-threatening illnesses. I came to found this organization after I became a peer volunteer at a children's hospice in Vancouver. When you think of children's hospice, at least what came to my mind would be little children, 3, 4, 5. But what actually was the case were most of the kids there were my age or even older than I am. So that was something that really struck me, because of course they're exactly like me. Why wouldn't they be? They may be in a wheelchair, but we need to see past that wheelchair. I would often come away from the children's hospice feeling as though those kids had done so much more for me than anything I could ever do for them, so this is the least I could do to help.
So you really discovered your passion and what you wanted to work with through volunteering.
Yes, that's true.
We talked with Ivet a little bit earlier about how we wish more young people would volunteer. How do you think we can all encourage that?
I think that people need to find their passion. My passion is working with children and researching, but of course it's what I enjoy to do. No one's going to force you to do anything. I mean, I'm up late at night on my computer. No one forces me to do it. I do it because I love to.
And what's one thing you've learned this week through the experiences and workshops and sessions we've had?
I think it's really important to surround yourself with lots of different types of people and be able to learn from them, especially all these amazing top 20 under 20 recipients. We're such like-minded peers, and although we've come here from such different avenues, we all know what it takes to overcome those obstacles and get that success to be here.
And Skyping us from Richmond, BC is Perri Tutelman. Welcome to the show, Perri.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Perri, I have to ask you the obvious question. Cancer research at 14. How did that happen?
I've actually been thinking about that myself lately, because at the time when I was 14, I didn't look at my age as being the issue. I was just a 14-year-old who was curious and interested in contributing to the science field. So I would just wanted to go in there, learn what I could do, and use my abilities and interests to help with research.
But lots of kids at 14 maybe have that thought. You took it to the next step, which is to get involved in actually doing the research. How did you get involved?
I was able to find a mentor who was able to help me and sort of show me the ropes in cancer research. She showed me techniques and different procedures that I was then able to continue on myself.
But how do you find a mentor at 14? What did you actually do? Go online, or where did you go?
Yep, online's the best place to go. There's lists of people, and they're really nice if you just email them. They're happy to help you.
You're kidding, really? She didn't say, listen, kid, call me when you're 20, or...
For every 100 people that you email, you're going to get 1 or 2 who are just going to take that extra second and be like, oh my goodness, there's something special here. And those are the people that you just have to surround yourself with, because they're willing to help.
But did you find it difficult back then to be taken seriously as a 14-year-old interested in cancer research?
Yes, because people look at me first as being, back then 14, now 17. They don't look at me as being the scientist, the philanthropist, the top 20 under 20. But looks can be deceiving. Just because I'm young, it doesn't mean that my ideas aren't valid.
I want to talk about your ideas. Tell me a little bit about your research. What do you actually do?
When I started, I was looking at an herb called artemisinin. Now, I found that by looking in a malaria journal, and it's used for malaria treatment in third world countries because of its very unique mechanism of action. It actually has an endoperoxide bridge,
You've
which
lost
is actually,
me.
I'll explain.
Already,
it's really simple. It's 2 linked oxygen atoms, and in areas of high iron concentration, they're activated to form free radicals, and those break down the malaria parasite. Now, the cancer cell is similar to malaria in the fact that it's also high in iron, because everyone knows that cancer is constantly growing, and when it grows, it's uptaking more blood to sustain its growing surface area. So I made the connection between using artemisinin for malaria and using it for cancer research, and its novel ability to attack only the cancer cells because of their high iron concentrations.
And what did you find doing your research? Was it successful, or?
Yes, it was. I started just with artemisinin itself, and after I saw that it did have some success in killing cancer cells, I decided to combine it with other types of therapies because combination treatments see far more success than normal treatments on their own.
Now, as if that wasn't enough, you also have a whole philanthropic side, which you just alluded to. Why wasn't it enough for you to just do research? Because that's a huge field. That's a huge contribution. I mean, you're doing this stuff, you're developing, you just mentioned, you're having success with different treatments. Why isn't that enough?
For me, I'm a really big people person. So when I'm sitting in the lab, I'm working with cancer cells, I'm working with other types of cells. Those came from real people. Those diseases affect real people today. So in my experiences working with children who have special needs and children who have these illnesses, I felt as though I wanted to help in more ways than just with the research, and knowing that there's limitations towards research with funding and such, that I could use both my passions to make a difference.
So let's start with some of those passions. The Cures for Kids Foundation, what exactly is it?
Cures for Kids is a foundation which I started, which raises not only funds but awareness for pediatric life-threatening illnesses. I started it just under a year ago, based on my experiences working with children who have special needs at the Canuck Place Children's Hospice and some other organizations. Those children are faced with such challenges every day, and just the way that they overcome them and the way that they celebrate life to the fullest every single day is so inspiring to me, and they do so much more for me than I could ever do for them. So that's really what prompted me to
start it. And you mentioned it's only been going for about a year now. How much money have you raised?
In just under a year, we've raised just under $20,000, which is very, very exciting, and it's just the beginning. This past year, we introduced our board of advisors, which is a high-profile list of individuals who are willing to help with the foundation. We have gained support from many sponsors, and we're just getting there. It's very exciting.
I love the way that you say you're just starting. It's like you've raised $20,000, and that's the beginning, not the end for you. What have you done with the money so far?
So far, we were able to fund a procedure room at the BC Cancer Research Centre in the Oncology Hematology Department, which is very exciting.
And why did you choose that to fund?
What appealed to me the most about that is that I've worked with many children who are faced with pediatric cancers, and what they have to go through is just ridiculous, and they go through it with such strength and such passion. So if I could do something to improve the process that they're going through, means the world to me.
So how does that improve the process? I don't understand.
The procedure room that we are helping to renovate, they're making it more child-friendly. They're making it more leading edge, cutting edge, less invasive procedures and all that kind of stuff. So it just helps all around. And
you mentioned that this is only the beginning. So what are your goals with Cures for Kids? What do you hope to try and achieve?
My biggest dream for Cures for Kids is to be able to fund a research project, because as a researcher myself, I know the limitations of funding for research, and it's really, really frustrating when you have an idea and what's stopping you is the funding. So being able to contribute to that is exciting. So that's why Cures for Kids places an emphasis on funding research programs in the future.
You mentioned briefly Canuck Place, and you do some work there. What do you do there?
My position at Canuck Place is referred to as a peer volunteer. So it's exactly what it is. I'm in there as a peer for 4 hours a week, just working with the children in the house. It could be anything from making crafts to playing outside, and it's really just connecting one-on-one with the kids who are in the house.
Now, there are some people that will hear that and say, but Perri, you're this genius researcher. You should be in the lab. That's where you can contribute more. Why do you think it's important to spend time with kids one-on-one like that?
I see this over and over again. I think it's really important to be able to have that connection in a clinical setting with the people that you're going to be helping. I mean, one of my career goals is to be able to complete an MD and a PhD degree. And I think your question speaks to that in volumes, because I want to be able to contribute to research in the lab, which is going to be able to help children in a clinical setting.
Some people, though, would say that working with ill children could be very depressing and very upsetting, and they want to avoid that. Why do you actively seek that out?
People ask me that all the time. They ask me, isn't the work you do depressing? Well, I think it's really quite the opposite. You don't go in there and are faced with, people who are sad and moping around. It's really quite the opposite. Everyone is happy and just ready to celebrate life and celebrate every moment and not sweat the small stuff. So it's really just about being happy and being positive and learning from the experiences that all the kids have been through.
You've alluded to a bunch of different things, but in terms of your own work, your own immediate future, I guess, what are your plans for the immediate future?
Well, within the next year, I'm going to try and finish up grade 12, which should be helpful. And then I definitely want to complete an undergraduate degree in science, so whether that be health science or general science. I'm still trying to decide. The universities in Canada are all very good, so I have to make that decision.
And now, if somebody is watching this and wants to know more about your foundation, Cure for Kids, is there a website or some way they can find out more information?
Yes, they can go to www.curesforkids.ca.
Excellent. Well, thank you for your time today, Perri. And I know you're a very busy woman, so I appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk with me. And good luck with all your plans.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Well, up next, a teen works on a cure for kidney disease to help a friend's sick father. Stick around.